It's time to get real. It's time to get raw. It's time to look ourselves in the mirror and come to the resolve that this version of ourself is not going to carry us in the stretch. I've been this version of myself long enough that if I don't change, if I don't do something about this.
You're a man, you don't have to show people you have what you really have. You have it. But when you're a boy and you seek attention, you need people to see what you have.
Pursue your gift and not your passion. And gifts don't have to be running, jumping, singing, dancing. Teaching is a gift.
Then I'm going to find myself bankrupt.
For me to understand, for me to be better, for me to be stronger, I must learn to suffer a little bit. I must learn to struggle a little bit. I cannot reap the rewards of success without understanding about struggles.
Success is not automatic. You don't get things just because you want them.
If you really have it, shouldn't it be enough that you have it? So what I'm hoping for this group, I'm asking that a group of males would make sure they transition from malehood to boyhood to adolescence to manhood and then the man's man. Malcolm was a man's man. Malcolm came out from Detroit Red to Malcolm X. When Malcolm came out, listen to me very closely, they were able to convince women to join. They couldn't get the pimps and the hustlers to do it. When Malcolm came out, Malcolm was Chicago, Detroit, New York. Malcolm was all over the world recruiting men. And I'm talking about, if y'all saw, again.
You achieve your goals only when you are disciplined enough to keep showing up when you don't feel like it.
You're going to put the blood, you're going to put the sweat, you're going to put the tears in, you're going to lose sleep, you're going to go days without eating, you're going to do whatever it takes to make the sacrifices necessary to manifest. There are too many people in your life who have left you. There are too many people in your life who have counted you out. There are too many people in your life who have whispered in your ear and said, you'll be worse off without them. Prove them wrong.
Son, you're just a dreamer. That thing you're dreaming is never gonna happen. I would ask myself every single day, are you just a dreamer? Or are you a person who can grind until they execute? Somebody who can make that dream a reality. Is that true?
Some of it is fiction, but some of it is true. I love it, I love it, I love it. When the Italian mob came up with the guns, Malcolm said, you got people with guns. I got men willing to die for me. What? Y'all got guns. My guys, they don't just got guns. They willing to lose their life for me. What? When the nation was up, wasn't nobody playing. When a man was on the block, they wasn't playing with Malcolm X. They wasn't playing with the Nation of Islam. They playing with us. They don't take us serious. So they don't mind driving and coming in and blowing up our neighborhood because they like, the men ain't gonna be there anyway. Go do your homework and see who was shot and killed. The men ain't gonna be there anyway. They gonna be somewhere either sleeping around, they gonna be going somewhere trying to make some money. They not gonna be at the king. You can't come to a kingdom that's protected. You can't run up on a kingdom that's protected, but you can run up on a kingdom full of boys. You can run up on a kingdom full of boys.
The best things won't come out, the best of you won't show up. Do you feel that all you know is sorrow? Why do you allow misery to handcuff you? To chain you down, resurrect yourself from the pit of darkness, music, because misery doesn't have the right to control your life when the rest of the world says no to you. You say yes to yourself, you say yes. I believe you say yes, I can do it, you say yes. Nothing can stop me, there's no time to give up. This is the opportunity to be greater than your fears. Be stronger than your doubts, make your mind matter. Misery, it will continue to do all that is necessary. To succeed, misery is on a mission to take everything away from you.
Nursing is a gift. Networking is a gift. Child care is a gift. Those are gifts, man. People, you can have a great life at that. But don't come out here to sing and dance if that ain't what you do. They're going to eat you alive in L.A. They're going to swallow you up, man. L.A.'s a hard place to go to be successful. Very, very difficult, man. There's a lot of broken dreams out there. So that's my advice to you. It's your dream and your drive that makes you successful. It has nothing to do with education. So if you're sitting out there and you're not an educated person, don't let that stop you. Don't even let that be the reason. Make that be the reason why you become successful. That's what I did. I didn't have an education, so I said, but because you don't have an education, don't mean you can't be successful. You got vision, you got God. I don't know if you've read the Bible, but education ain't in there. Harvard and USC, Emory, it's not even in the Bible. It ain't in there. Dreams and visions. Faith, dreams, and vision. You be on Broadway with faith, dreams, and vision. And your gift. That's all you need to succeed. Now, if you want to be a dentist or a doctor or a lawyer, come on now, you got to go to school, right? I'm not saying, because school is important. But if you don't have one of them skill sets, man, what you gonna do? Get to hustle.
Your mind is very powerful. Bringing the goodness, moving with a purpose, conditioning your mind is what this is about today, is that day and when and if tomorrow comes for you. Be even more powerful, be stronger than you've ever been. Rectifying yourself, believe in yourself, keep that faith in yourself. Don't let the outside interference stop your growth. Don't let those that doubted you and said that you did not have it hold you back. Don't let the losses keep you down. Because if you're down, how would you understand what it means to get up? What is good about being miserable? What is misery doing for you? What has misery done for you lately? Has it given you everything that you needed, made you a better person?
You'll never go back to the old ways. Join a new crowd. Join a new group. This is the place to do it. Take action. I recommended the last time I was here the little book, Richest Man in Babylon, and I said I've lectured now to over 3 million people in the last 33 years, and I've recommended this little book to almost all of them, I think. Guess how many have actually gone and got this little book? Answer, very few. My best guess is 10%. Such an easy thing to do. In that last seminar, right, I suggested this little book, number one, is easy to find. Number two, it's easy to buy. The most you can pay for it, $6, $7, $8. You can borrow that from your kids. And number three, it's easy to read. It's in story form. That's why I use it for teenagers, teaching them how to be rich by 40, 35 if you're extra bright, much sooner if you find a unique opportunity.
Your mind, your abilities, your faith within yourself, it's all that you need. The steps that you take in your life, it's a process within itself. It won't be easy, but you don't deserve easy. Easy is not something that you should be looking for. Embrace all of the challenges that are necessary, but you continue to fight forward, you continue to believe in yourself. How do we allow ourselves elevate the game to go higher than we've ever gone before? How do we escape from the misery, the joy? Is what we seek the joy of living.
But if it's easy to find and easy to buy, and if it's easy to read, why wouldn't everybody go get it? We don't know. What do you know? You don't know. I don't know. Nobody knows. Here's how profound it is. Some do and some don't. Now here's the numbers. About 10% do. 90% don't or won't. We don't know the mystery of that. And I'm telling you, 10 years from now, those numbers will still be the same. 10% will, 90% won't. The numbers don't change. Only the faces change. You're looking at one of the faces. I used to belong to the 90%. Who couldn't be bothered even if it was easy. Guess how many people have a library card? Wisdom of the world available. Transform your life in any value amount you want. By the way, how much is a library card in Texas?
The joy of pursuing, the joy of believing. Are you ready to succeed? Are you prepared to move forward? Make it count, be productive, be powerful, and from the bottom of my heart, conduct your business. They say a mind to mind is a terrible thing to. Waste mind is so powerful. It's so unique it can do many things, and you are the one that is responsible for the thoughts that enter your mind. How do we as individuals, as people, get away from misery? How do we allow ourselves to elevate the game to go higher?
So we can't even deal with what's fair. But he's stuck in the fact that it's not fair. I don't deserve that. They were wrong. I used to be a state legislator in Columbus, Ohio. During the break, we used to go out on the front lawn of the Ohio legislature, at the Capitol there, and observe people as they came by. There was one particular person that all of us knew. The children, adults, everybody used to pick at him when he came by. We called him Chicken Man. He had a feather in his hat. He had a toy chicken on top of his car that he would drive around the area in downtown, blinking his lights and occasionally blowing his horn. When he got out of his car, he would walk downtown with a baby carriage with two little baby dolls in there and a picture of a woman. And when you say something to him or came near him, you would hear him making the sounds of a chicken. All of us used to laugh at Chicken Man. We didn't know Chicken Man's story. Chicken Man woke up one morning around 3 a.m. and his house was on fire. He panicked and he got out of the window and left quickly, only to get outside to hear his children and his wife screaming for help. He ran back to the door to go in to save them, and the flames were too hot, too awesome. He tried to get in, he couldn't get in. He was desperate, frantic. Pretty soon the cries stopped. They perished in the fire. His brother-in-law came, found out that his sister had died and his nieces in the fire, grabbed Chicken Man and started beating him. "You chicken, why did you save my sister? You're chicken, you're chicken." When the people pulled him off Chicken Man, they picked him up and said, "Are you all right?" And Chicken Man looked at him and he started making the sounds of a chicken. He never ever overcame that tragedy. He was stuck from that experience. None of us knew why Chicken Man went around with this picture and these little dolls.
A good question to ask before undertaking any project or setting any new objective, then, is what are the most important half-dozen things that will make the major difference in how it works out? So whether the enterprise is art or architecture, music or sculpture, mathematics or sports, business or farming, success or lifestyle, it's the fundamentals that count. To understand them and to practice them is to take the first intelligent step toward accomplishing your objectives and living your dreams. The second key word for us to consider is wealth. Wealth is a word that brings about a wide variety of mental images, and that is part of my purpose in these cassettes, to provoke that wide variety of mental images, for that is where the dreams are, that is where the inspiration comes from, and that is where true incentive is born. The mystery and mixture of mental image, the stuff and the staff of life. Its right use, its constant use is the way to a life unique and a life abundant. Now, to one, wealth means having enough financial substance to be able to do whatever you wish to do with your life. To another, it may mean freedom from debt, freedom from the constant claim of obligation. To yet another, it means opportunity. And to many, wealth means $1 million. That's a unique word, millionaire. It rings of success, freedom, power, influence, pleasure, possibility, benevolence, and excitement. Not a bad mental image.
If you look at the wall, you run into it. You cannot even look at the wall, you pull the steering wheel into the wall. So when there's a crash at 215 miles an hour and there's smoke everywhere, we are trained to drive right into the smoke. Can you imagine that? Imagine the fear level of driving into the smoke at 200 miles an hour when you know there are crashed cars in front of you. That's what you do as a driver to win. That's what you do as an entrepreneur to win. That's what they do as an entrepreneur. My fever's like 110. All right, so you gotta be willing to drive in there. Here we go. You got 8 years left. Want to learn to bend time? You want some help with time? How do we manipulate those 8 years? Do you want to know, yes or no? Okay, here's how you manipulate that time. Who says a day is 24 hours? Who says that? Someone just made that crap up. Why can't a day be 23 hours? Why can't a day be 8 hours? A day can be 8 hours, by the way. I started it 10 years ago. I run 8-hour days. People that are successful in a bigger hurry, they're faster. They walk faster, talk faster, they move faster. This is something you're going to need to adopt. You don't need to be loud and intense like me, but you gotta move, think, and walk and talk faster. Speed matters. So I run 8-hour days. My first day, you can do it however the heck you want, but my first day, I run 3 mini days. They're actually each 6 hours. My first day is from 6 a.m. to noon. That's a day. Have you ever had a day where you got more accomplished the first 3 hours than you do in a normal whole day? Yes or no? So did I. And I started thinking, well, then what the hell do I measure this stuff by 24 hours for? So many years ago, I went, my day is 6 a.m. to noon. I let the rest of the world have their day. I'm trying to run a whole day schedule of calls, appointments, contacts, meetings, executions, return of emails, whatever it is, from 6 a.m. to noon. That is the end of my day. Day 2 starts from noon to 6 p.m. That's my second day. I got 2 days now. My third day is from 6 p.m. until midnight. I run this cycle of days. I get 3 days a day. I calibrate time that way. I look at time that way. I execute that way. I crush you. You work 24-hour days.
you're going to get slammed. In today's world, the speed of internet contacts, and you're going to compete against someone like me and the people I teach this to, which comes out on my YouTube video on Monday, so you're getting it first. You better start running mini days, especially those of you, by the way, who do this part-time. You need to really start to calibrate time the way I just told you. A day for you going forward is 6 a.m. to noon. Your second day is noon to 6 p.m. So if some of you are going to be at your job for the first 2 days, you got a brand new day when you leave there, and you're 6 p.m. to noon. If you're going to be a real entrepreneur, real part-time, you bend time. What that does for me is it allows me to measure myself every window, every day. At the end of that day, I measure and adjust and calibrate. I actually have a clock that goes off in my head every hour. To this day, top of every hour, what did I do to execute? What do I need to do to move closer to my goal? What do I need to do to change? It's a little psycho, but it's what I have. If you really want to win, you really want to be very wealthy, if you compete with 24-hour days, because here's what I get. By the time you've run 2 days, I've had 6. Stack up a normal week for you, and I get 21 days. Now stack up a month, stack up a year, stack up 3 years, stack up 5 years, stack up 10 years, and you go from Velcro Mercedes to all that shit you saw in the video.
The meaning we associate to things controls our entire lives. It's not that your mother or father died that's giving you suffering. Certainly that's painful. It's the meaning you think it shouldn't have happened. And when we take control of the meaning, it's the only thing we can control our lives. We can't control events. And we're living now where technology is happening so rapidly. It's magnificent what it does for our lives. But we all know with that technology, our psychology is not developing as rapidly. And as a result, the world's changing. And there are a lot of us that have learned to engage with technology and use it to maximize, most people in this room. There's lots of people who use technology to disengage, to be harmful to themselves and to other people. It's not a one-way street. So I'm interested in how to maximize the psychology side. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. So you can increase both your leadership skill, but who do you have to lead first to be effective, my friends? Who? Yourself. And so good to see what's controlling you. Well, what I'm focusing on is controlling me. You can focus on something, you make yourself crazy. You can focus on something and make yourself great. In this moment, you could be worried about Ebola, because we all know it's coming. People are freaked out all over the world. 36,000 people die a year of flu, and the whole world is focused on Ebola. Because the news is not designed to inform you, it is designed to startle you, because that's how you sell things. So if you let someone else take control of your focus, your life will be in someone else's hands. So first decision is what you're going to focus. Second, meaning. My father that day focused on he had to take care of his family, and the meaning was, I know what it was because he said it out loud, that I'm worthless. Now when you come up with a meaning, it produces an emotion. And if you and I want to look at the quality of our life, there's only a way to define it. One way really, that's real. How do you feel every day? If every day of your life you got $1 billion and every day you feel guilty or angry, by the way, nothing worse than an angry rich man or woman, isn't there? You just want to slap them, don't you? How do you have the right to be angry? They find a way. But if you got $1 billion and you're angry and you're pissed off and you're guilty all the time, what is the quality of your life? Angry, pissed off, and guilty.
Most of you have these stats, but I pulled them because I think they're interesting, because I'm talking the Old Testament stuff, and you might say, well, that's outdated, and we don't need to hear that. These latest stats say 1,500 pastors leave the ministry permanently each month in America. 1,500 running out the door every month in America alone. That's a lot. Imagine 1,500 people leaving your church a month. 1,500 people, pastors a month. Hey, a month. 4,000 new churches start each year in America. 7,000 churches close each year. If you got 7,000 closing and 4,000 starting, that's them numbers. You've been hearing a lot about pastors and divorces, the big pastors, the big preachers. There's a lot being said about people getting divorced. Oh, bless God. Oh, see, because when you're big and you have a problem, it gets a lot of publicity and people get to tie in and to talk about it like you're an anomaly and like you're an exception. Let me give you some reality check. 50% of pastors' marriages, of pastors' marriages end in divorce. So it's not just the big ones you hear about. It's the little ones too. It's just that when you're big and you get a problem that little people have, they get to kill you for having it. 50%? Gosh, that seems like a lot. That seems like a whole lot of people. 80% of pastors spend under 15 minutes a day in prayer. Maybe that's some of the problem we have. And nearly 60% of pastors secretly want to get out of ministry, but have no way to sustain themselves aside what they're doing it for the binges. The passion is gone. The thrill is gone. They're in the middle of their lives. They can't start over in a new position. They've got too much titles and too much influence, and they're embarrassed to quit, and they're hanging on by a thread. Those are huge statistics. And if those statistics are accurate, then you could assume that there is at least 10% of people in this room are sick of just, oh, praise the Lord. How you doing, friend? I'm doing good. How you doing, man?
there are some dreams shut up in you. Like fire, you're going to feel your destiny calling out. May not have happened the first time. The loan didn't go through. You didn't get chosen for the part. The medical report wasn't good. That's okay. It's still in you. This is your time. This is your moment. Shake off the doubt. Shake off the negativity. You're at the right place. You're at the right time. Now all you've got to do is get in the right frame of mind. Lord, I believe this is my year to get healthy and whole. This is my year to meet the people of my dreams. This is my year to go further in my career, to step into a new level of my destiny. This is my year to accomplish dreams, to break free from this depression. This is my year to meet the right people. This is my year to get healthy and whole. This is your year to see double. This is your year for vindication, for restoration, for new beginnings. Now get your mind going in the right direction.
This will be a transformative year. New year, new me. Transformative thinking. God is about to transform your thinking, your mindset, your approach to life. The Lord said that there's more inside of you than what you have perceived. There are gifts in you that you have not tapped into yet. This is your year of transformation, rethinking, removing, retooling, new friends, new environment. I'm tired of doing what I used to do. If I always do what I've always done, I'll always be where I've always been. I'm going to throw it behind me. Truth of the matter is, everybody in here is going through a change. We are all in the process of transforming to a higher, better expression of myself. Don't let the habits of my past stop me from this metamorphosis. Things that used to worry me, not gonna do me like that. Things that used to get on my nerves, people I had to respond to in anger, not gonna do me like that. I'm focusing on what's in front of me. What separates us is transformation, the desire to evolve, the passion to get up off the ground and stop eating dirt. Your perception has everything to do with how this year is going to work. It is not what you perceive about me. It's what I perceive about me. It is because of the uniqueness of the challenges that confront you are so unique to you that you feel like I'm up against it all by myself. There are moments in our lives that we feel completely alone. We feel as though no one knows what we're going through.
If you don't know exactly what you want, or you let yourself get beyond that into something general, you're not going to achieve it. Clarity is power. You got to know the specific result you're after. What do you want? Why you're doing it.
Most people will resist change. Most people will fight change as if change would be worse than what they're experiencing. Most people will not challenge the unknown. They won't just step out there.
We go through the actions of commitment, but we're not really committed. We're not really connected. We're not really joined because we have no understanding of our responsibility to any relationship. Wonder what would have happened in school if you'd been committed. Wonder what would have happened in your marriage if you'd have really thrown your whole self. You've always been casual.
See, a lot of people won't try anything different in life because they don't want to get hurt. Pain is everywhere. But most people spend their life not wanting to deal with the pain of rejection, the pain of being disappointed, the pain of being criticized, the pain. That's called life. But guess what? There's no gain without pain.
Even if you are 40 or 50 or 60 or 70, doesn't matter. You're in the game now, and that's what counts. And all those quote-unquote wasted years, they weren't wasted because you learned.
If you know what it is to be at the end of your rope and feel like your life is over and you've got questions that cannot be answered, you need to learn this verse. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. I've seen days that were so dark for me that I thought there could not possibly be a silver lining in the clouds. I've seen days and weeks and months that drug me so low that I gave up all hope of getting up again. But in the midst of all of that despair, there was in the basement of my soul, they that sow in tears shall reap in joy.
So you got to get yourself past that. And the way to get past that is have enough reasons. Reasons come first, answers come second. To ask intelligent, you got to know why you want it, have enough drive to make it happen, enough juice to make it happen. If you don't have enough reasons, you will not make it happen. What is going to get you to actually fall through? Because the first plan's not going to work and the second plan's going to work, so you better have enough plans. If the first two don't work, you still got something else. Otherwise, you're going to be having excuses why it didn't work.
What do you do when something is missing out of your life and the things that replaced it do not compensate for what you lost? What do you do when you tried and failed and you want to quit? Because trying again means hurting again, means risking again, means believing again, means hoping again.
You will be wounded many times in your life. You'll make mistakes. But I have learned that failure is really God's way of saying, excuse me, you're moving in the wrong direction.
Other than death, all failure is psychological. Does not mean that you won't lose some battles, because you will. But it does mean that as long as you don't surrender, as long as you don't give up, then you haven't failed. If you get beat, unless you're dead, you are not defeated, and you have not failed. What you've done is you've learned. So get up and go get after it.
You just don't know what the next moment will bring. You have comeback power. When something happens to you, don't buy into what has happened to you. Buy into, I'm getting up out of here. I'm going to change this situation. This is no time to do something stupid, like hurt yourself. No.
Don't lose your dream. That's long-range goals. Because if you set up something short-range, go for it. Get it. Latch onto it. Work hard. Accomplish it. That starts building your strong feelings to go for your dreams.
People who don't stop to clear their heads, they react. They don't respond. You're going to get through this. And you don't want to be radical. You don't want to be erratic. You got to assure yourself. You have to encourage yourself.
We all live in this bubble. What you got to do to get the life that God wants you to have, you got to put more air in your bubble. Expand yourself. Take yourself out your comfort zone. If you stay in your comfort zone, that's where you will fail. Success is not a comfortable procedure. It is a very uncomfortable thing to attempt. So you got to get comfortable being uncomfortable if you ever want to be successful. As long as God wakes you up, that means he ain't through with you yet. You got a shot to correct it and get it right. And he kept waking me up. So I figured, okay, God wakes you up. That also means that he has something for you that you've yet to receive.
You have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. The ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere, when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit. So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. So you got to love it, you got to have passion.
If you think ordinary's cool, ain't no problem. It's some really wonderful ordinary people. But here's the fact. All of you have extraordinary capabilities. All of you. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. He who loves to sleep and the folding of hands, poverty will set upon you like a thief in the night.
better have a valued goal, because otherwise you can't get any positive motivation. And so the more valuable the goal, the more the micro processes associated with that goal start to take on a positive charge. Well, you get up in the morning and you're excited about the day. You're ready to go. What you do is you specify your long-term ideal. You want to specify goals that make you say, if that could happen as a consequence of my efforts, it would clearly be worthwhile. The question always is, why do something?
It's easy to get faked out by being busy. Guy comes home at night all exhausted, falls in the chair and says, oh, I've been going. Here's the big question. Doing what? It's not the going. Some people are going, and they're doing figure eights. So don't mistake movement for achievement.
The next question might be, well, where should you look for worthwhile things? You need a family, you need friends. Like, you don't need to have all these things, but you better have most of them. Family, friends, career, educational goals, etc. You know, that's what life is about. And if you don't have any of those things, then all you've got left is misery and suffering. So that's a bad deal for you.
If you can't be good company to yourself, you can't be good company with anybody else. I heard a song called I'm Lonely Whenever You Are Around. Have you ever had that kind of experience? Yes, you have. You could be lonely in the middle of a crowd, alone in your thoughts, people surrounding you, and you're lonely because you have a different kind of mindset. The energy is different, and your mind is in another place. There are people that are lonely who are living together. Unfortunately, there are people who are not handling it well. Don't just focus on how dramatic the change is. Focus on the area that's beneficial to you. Focus on what is it that you have going for you to negotiate the change. And so in this time where we are, that everybody would recognize that dramatic change has taken place. And many people are stressed out. Many people are frightened. Many people are confused and don't have a clue on what to do and feel overwhelmed. And so say to yourself, I am free to create a new life for myself. I'm aware of the fact that I have the ability to make my life recession-proof. Right now, I am my boss.
Who it is that you're trying to be, you aim at that, and then you use everything you learn as a means of building that person that you want to be. And that's fine, except you'll fail all the time then. You just won't know it until you've failed so badly that you're done. And that can easily happen by the time you're 40. I would recommend that you don't let that happen. Okay, so once you get your goal structure set up, you think, okay, if I could have this life, looks like that might be worth living. Anxiety provoking and threatening, and there's going to be some suffering and loss involved and all of that. The goal is to have a vision for your life. Then you turn down to the micro routines. It's like, okay, well, this is what I'm aiming for. How does that instantiate itself day to day, week to week, month to month?
What's your excuse today? You don't have enough time? You don't have enough energy? You don't have enough money? Are you too tired? You didn't get enough sleep? Is that what's really stopping you? Or is what's stopping you, you? In this social media world that we live in today, it's so easy to lose your way. I look around at so many people today and can see that they just don't know who they are. It's easy to see the life that we live in today through some Snapchat filter. To look around at everybody else and say, that's what life looks like. That life looks perfect. So they go around and start acting like other people, doing what other people do, taking a selfie in front of an expensive car, put 1 million filters on the picture and upload that to Instagram to tell the world, this is who I am. The problem is, behind closed doors, they know that that's not who they are. So they end up lost, wandering around in a lie that they created. And the only thing to keep the lie going is more lies, more pictures, more filters, until one day they look around and realize that they have lost themselves along the way. They have no idea who they are or could be because they've been trying for so long to be someone else. The difference between the people who are happy and the people that ain't is that the people that are happy choose to focus on the solutions to the problems they face rather than the problems themselves. You always have a choice. You could decide to focus on the or decide to look for the solution. It's all about perspective.
Dreaming is good, having goals is good. But sooner or later, there comes a time when you must act. Dreams without action, that's the path to delusion. Without action, these dreams and goals will fill your life with a shitload of negative emotions. Things like anxiousness, nervousness. They will fester inside you and drain your energy. The reason most people don't take action is simple. It's fear. Fear of failure, fear of success. And the only way to overcome this and to stop making bullshit excuses why you shouldn't act is to make not taking action more painful than taking action. So think about it right now. Let's think of some things that might happen if you try to do the thing that you've been wanting to do for years. Okay, well, it might not work the first time. It might not be as easy as you thought. People might laugh at you and talk about you behind your back. You might get hurt. But if you keep taking action, in spite of all this stuff that might happen, guess what? Sooner or later, you're going to start winning.
Constantly tell yourself how much worse things could be, and you can actually be thankful for the way you've got things at the moment. Your world and your life can truly be anything you make it, but you've got to make it. Nothing can be achieved, conceived until first it's believed. You have to believe it to see it. Amazing things happen when you believe you have something. Your brain actively goes out to make it happen. It starts to notice little subtle opportunities that you would have otherwise deleted because it knows it's got a job to do to get you what you want.
People take action and get done when they have had enough. They decide and they say, that's it, I'm done, no more. No more will I be treated like this. No more will I be overweight. No more will I be in a job that I hate. Just decide, man. Making action a must will piss all over the fear you have, I promise you that. At the moment, your brain thinks like this. Trying this new thing will be hard, it will be risky, etc., etc. Basically, associating taking action with pain. So, what you need to do is to train your mind and focus on the pain you'll get if you don't act. And to reinforce that, focus on all the pleasure that you will get if you act. So it'll sound something like this. It'll be a good challenge. You'll learn something new. You'll meet new people, see new places. If you do that and you take massive action every time, your life will never be the same again, I promise.
We've heard the old expression, don't count your chickens until they're hatched. No, we have the ability to count our chickens long before they're hatched. Because we know, we have faith, we believe. We use the law of averages. There's bound to be at least so many. Out of every dozen, out of every 100, out of every 50. So it's possible to see the end, then begin. So here's what we want to do in our goal-setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. I was in business with Bob Cummings, the old movie star, for a while. He said, decide what you want and then act as if you already had it. And being an actor, he could give us a few tips on act. Decide what you want and act as if it was already yours. Now, the reason we can act thinking that it's already ours is because not only can we vision the end results, we can also vision the beginning of making it real. So we don't start till it's finished, but it is possible for human beings to finish something before they start. Just jot this down, it's a bit philosophical, but we'll cover it before we take our lunch break. And that's this: human beings are the only life on earth that has this incredible capacity to change the course of your life. No other life form can do that. Every other life form except human seems to operate simply by instinct in the genetic code. In the winter, the goose flies south. How often? Answer: every winter. If you said to the goose, hey, it'd be better this year to go west, he ignores that advice. And the reason is because he cannot make choices and listen to advice of something that might be better. He has to obey instinct and the genetic code. But now jot this down, not human beings. Human beings can alter the course of their life.
Human beings can live one way for 5 years, tear up that script, live a totally different way the next 5 years. The first 6 years of my economic life, I wound up broke. Second 6 years, I wound up rich. Someone says, how did you do that? Here's number one. I discovered I was not a goose. Someone says, don't you have to do the second 6 years like you did the first 6 years? And jot this down. No. No, you don't have to live the second 6 years like the first 6. You can use all the information and all the advice and repairing all of your mistakes and adopting a new and refined philosophy so that the next 6 years can be totally different than the last 6. No other life form can do this. See, if you were a tree, you'd be stuck. As a tree, if you used up all the nourishment that was around you and you couldn't change location, see, you would die. But that's not true. Human beings can change location, go north, south, east, west, live here for a while, live somewhere else for a while. So that's a note to make. You can greatly alter the course of your life. Now here's the next note to make. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is where? This is for mature people now. If you keep up your present disciplines and keep up the present pace that you're on, where will you be in 5 years? Boy, it's easy to say, hey, I haven't really thought about that. So now make this note. In 5 years, here's the probability. You will either arrive at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination. Well-designed or undesigned. And I promise you, 5 years from now, you really don't want to arrive at an undesigned destination. Because you may very well wind up wearing what you don't want to wear, driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live, maybe doing what you don't want to do.
I mean, if you think about it, there's really a big difference between just merely achieving your goals and living a life of passion. I mean, where you love your life, where you love your career, you love your family, your friends, the people around you, where you look forward to each and every day. Maybe ultimate passion is when you can get to that point where no matter what happens in your life, even when the biggest challenge happens, even when the greatest injustices occur, you just grab a hold of them and you suck the juice out of that experience. You say to yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I apply this? You find a way to use whatever life gives you to create a life of even greater meaning. Now, by the way, is that what most people do? Well, you and I both know the answer is no. I mean, every day you look around and walk around and you see people around you that look half dead. I mean, it makes me sad. There seems to be no joy in their life. There's no drive in these people. They're kind of just surviving. It's like somewhere along the line they settled for so much less than they could be. And maybe it happened many years ago. Maybe years ago they had great goals and great dreams and a great drive for a life of meaning. But what happened to them? Well, what almost happened to me, what may have happened at one time in your life. They had big goals, they had big dreams, they went for it, they were excited, and they pushed hard. Maybe they disciplined themselves. Maybe they gave their all, and they were disappointed or maybe even betrayed. I know I felt that many times in my life, and I'm sure you have as well. But what do you do with that? That's what determines whether you develop a passionate life or one that you have to constantly make excuses for, or one where inside of you have to settle and say, those people out there that are so excited, so passionate, it's phony, it's fake, it's just a bunch of positive thinking. See, what happens for a lot of people is they don't want to be disappointed anymore. So what they do is they disassociate. They start saying, oh, don't get your hopes up. Hey, don't get overly excited about this stuff. Come on, what are you, naive? They become skeptical. They become pessimistic. But the truth is, when people say they're skeptical or they're pessimistic, what they're really saying is, I'm fearful. I mean, people who are skeptical are just afraid of being disappointed. They're afraid of being hurt. They're afraid to feel that feeling that comes from not winning. But listen to me. In any sport, if you're going to be victorious, you've got to be willing to risk that loss, that sense of pain. That also, by the way, that pain may be the very thing that gives you the drive to move forward and achieve more than you ever have before in your life. Michael Jordan is someone I've had the privilege of spending some time with. I mean, talk about a genius in the basketball ring, a genius in any sport. He's the best that probably has ever existed there. And when I talked to him the first time, I said, listen, Michael, tell me, your career's had many highs, but when did it just explode to the highest level? I mean, to where you knew your game was at its best. He said, Tony, the biggest thing that's driven me, honestly, was pain. He said, when I lost for the third time in those championships to the Detroit Pistons, he said, it ripped out my soul. It hurt so bad inside. He said, I sat there and I cried on the bus. I felt like somebody had stolen my pride. I felt like no one else had given as much as I had. I felt so bad inside. And you know what happened? Something inside of me just shifted. He said, I just was tired of feeling that way. And I decided I was going to go out that summer, I was going to lift weights and become stronger than I ever had been before. And the next year, I was going to dish out the pain. I wasn't going to take it. That we were going to win no matter what. He said, I converted all of that pain into absolute drive, and you know what happened. He won 3 national championships in a row for the Bulls. Took a little break from basketball and came back and did it again. I mean, that's real passion. Finding a way inside yourself when you're exhausted, when you're beat, when someone else seems to have more power or more skill or they're having more luck. And somehow you reach down inside and you convert the pain into power, into drive. Results in life don't come from being motivated. Results in life come from taking action, and that's where the rubber really meets the road. That's where the results really show up.